Okay, well, everybody, clicking it off here for 1 point of DM inspiration. Would anyone like to give us a recap of session 0/1? Because we are in session 2.
Nobody.
I'll
I did
let
it. I did
everyone
it all. I did it all of last campaign, so I was just gonna give someone else a chance before I jumped in.
Jump in, both feet.
All right. Oh man! All right.
Danica Greysteel, Thane of Brinishander, summoned the White Lotus and instructed her to round up all the Thanes of the 10 towns. So our party. The goal is to end the multiple years of constant night that afflicts the region. Accompanied by originally Barden Bladehelm, now Blarton Bladehelm, as he's affectionately known. He protected the White Lotus as she went around gathering everybody up, and we sort of semi-introduced ourselves, antagonized one another, had some introductions, but we just got to know each other superficially. As we were heading back to Brinishander, we were waylaid by ice zombies, which we were in the process of dispatching. But I think there's still a couple lingering, which brings us to now.
Absolutely, that was perfect. Definitely give yourself a charge of DM inspiration that you will probably need at some point in the near future.
Probably. Now, did we all start the campaign with one?
Correct. You all started the campaign
Okay.
with 1, and we just agreed that you guys can hold up to 3. So if you want to
Okay.
make that a resource on your guys' character sheet, that would be perfect.
Yep, that's what I was asking.
we don't do fate points in this one, do we?
Correct. I did not give you guys the chance to start with fate points, to start with a fate point.
Oh,
But who knows?
Is that an option or? I
That
don't know
would-
if that was something that was agreed on prior.
It was not something that was agreed upon prior. Let me think about it this week, and I'll put up a poll about that, and then we can. Might be something you guys can absorb from something, or harvest from something.
Okay. Because I just realized, like, I've gone through some of my other campaigns, and I'm just like, wait a minute, my character sheet usually has resources. There's supposed to be a spot here for fate points. Oh, wait, no,
Sure.
different DM. Have to think.
I know that your other DM also has a luscious, thick beard, and this DM has a luscious, thick beard, but we are different people. Okay, let's move forward. Something that I like to do in my campaign, the fact inspiration question. I give the opportunity for all of you guys to answer this for a bardic inspiration die that you can use in this session and this session only, and you can use that on any D20 test. So attack roll, saving throw, or ability check. The question is, what song would your character sing at karaoke night? And at your various towns that you live in, karaoke night is a real thing that happens in the taverns. It's hard out there for entertainment in Icewind Dale, since the everlasting Rime has begun. So, not many bards are coming up through the Reghed Glacier, so people are getting pretty desperate. So, let's start with Akia, 13. What would your karaoke night song be?
Oh, that's a tough one. My initial response is that he would get up to sing, and then just he's only got one song, and it's just the "All I Want for Christmas Is You," but it's just a recording of it. And he's like, I don't. People are like, you're supposed to sing. He's like, I don't understand the difference. I don't. What are you saying? It's like
Okay.
that is coming from me.
I am singing. I love that.
I
Okay.
I'm surprised. I feel like that might have been like more of a great moment to be like Mr. Roboto by Styx.
Nope.
And in this version of the song, of course, it's a.
It's the exact same. It's the exact song. It's just a recording. It's just a recording of the song.
Well,
So,
I love
he's
it.
like, I don't get it. I don't get what you're saying.
Okay, well, you've got yourself a fact inspiration die. We will move it forward. Let's ask Raylan. What would Raylan sing at karaoke night?
Definitely Wake Me Up Inside by Evanescence. Everyone in Lonelywood is super emo, and her especially so.
Dang.
I'm laughing because you may have stole someone else's karaoke song. Just based on what I know about the characters here today. I love that. Also, such a great song. I can just see the music video now of her and the guy, and like Daredevil was there. Okay.
It's a great time.
Now, you've got yourself a fact inspiration dice. Let's move forward to Lotus. What would White Lotus's song be?
Lotus is also a big fan of Evanescence, but she would have picked something a little different. She would have gone with Imaginary. Talk about being in a field of paper flowers with candy clouds of lullaby, that whole thing.
Oh, man. I'm going to have to listen to Evanescence after this. Guys, I'm feeling it. Okay. Well, let's give you a factspiration die here. Now, what would Gaiman sing at karaoke night?
He wouldn't. He'd be very resistant to singing. But if you got him drunk enough, he'd stagger up on stage, and I don't know if you've seen the Futurama episode, but he would do Morbo's version of Funky Town.
Funky Town.
Okay.
Interesting.
I'm down for that. I'm just writing these all down, and so that when we have our karaoke night episode, you guys are ready. It's the kind of the opposite of a beach episode, but still at the same time very similar. You have yourself a factspiration die. Okay, last but not least, Alicia. What would Alicia sing at karaoke night?
Probably staying on brand. I think they would sing Walking on Sunshine, I believe is what it is. I can't remember who actually sings it, but I can definitely hear that in my head from her or from them.
Absolutely. Sticking with your devotion to the God of the Sun, Lathander, absolutely Walking on Sunshine. I love it. All right. Well, you've got yourself a factspiration die. Okay, I've got some more stuff here on my opening notes that I wanted us to cover. First, because you guys have the opportunity to harvest stuff from monsters that we're going to be using in the campaign, I know that Gaiman said he was going to switch his disguise kit proficiency for harvesting kit. Did any of the other PCs want to swap a toolkit proficiency and a toolkit that you got at character creation for those things?
I'm not swapping a toolkit because all I have is my thieves tools, which are just like his integrated tools for everything that he casts. It's his spellcasting focus.
Sure.
But I am switching out a proficiency.
Okay, so we got 2 people proficient, so that should be good. Okay. Okay, last thing.
I'm a
Any
dirty
comments?
little liar. Since I switched Alicia over to Cleric, and their background is Acolyte, they do get a tool now. Calligraphers, best one in the game. But
You have the power of the gods.
But I will be sticking with that.
Hey, if you guys are a fan of Tulak the Barbarian, I'm giving him a free shout out right now. He makes great YouTube videos. And the power of calligraphy is mentioned in almost all of them. So
Calligraphy tools are the most powerful tools in the game.
It's true.
And anyone who says
Sorry, guys.
otherwise
I'm
is
gonna
just
be.
wrong.
I hate to interrupt, but I'm gonna be AFK. My dog pissed like 3 times in my office. Got to clean it up.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully that is not too much of a number one priority for him. Okay, let's get started. Let me move us to the combat map. Okay, we are on the combat map. And if I remember correctly, the last person to actually go in the round was Mr. Blarton. He tried to swing a torch at one of these bad boys and missed. So he is controlling initiative. And so we don't pass to someone who is not here at the moment. He's just going to have Miss Lotus start off round number 5.
All right, so let's see here. Go ahead, takes movement action. Pop over here. Get a good angle. Loop. All right. Just check real quick. All right, she'll bop over here, and then so here once again take the throwing stance. Once again, change the positions of her fingers, and then see your call. Yep, see your call. Change up, and go ahead and toss a Mind Sliver at Vegetative here.
Absolutely, and yes, I see that you did target them. Please continue to target everybody so we get
Yep.
those cool abilities popping up.
Come on. I click this thing.
I saw some dice being rolled.
Yeah, I saw some dice too. Maybe it's just lagging.
Yeah, let me try refreshing real quick.
No problem. And everybody, as he's refreshing, can you guys see on the right side of your screen next to the chat bar, can you see like little icons, little boxes?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I wanted you guys to be able to see those. Those are your status icons. You should be able to click those and right-click them to clear them.
Where is it? We're looking to see that.
So on the right side of your screen, next to your chat window, you should see some like little World of Warcraft icons.
Yeah,
Top right.
Not
Yep,
seeing
top right.
that. Nope, I don't have that.
Should just be a light bulb with a check in it right now.
Oh, well, okay, I do see that.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
you
that's
see it,
your expiration. Yeah, those will track all of your status icons for you guys, and you can put those on yourself or click those on yourself. How you put them on, when you right-click your token, you should have a Super Saiyan aura guy that says Assign Status Effects, and you can put those on from there. And when Lotus loads back in, we'll see if that quick refresh did the
All
job.
right, let's try this again.
Maybe it's not you. Maybe it's the server. Because I see you rolling.
Yeah, I see dice. No results. Which is very weird.
Somebody else roll something.
I'm going to roll Mind Sliver from your sheet.
All right, that's
Oh.
weird. Huh.
Well, that's a waste of a nat 20.
All right, there it is. All right. So, DC 13 totem save for 5 seconds.
Ooh, that is a failure. Vegetative is going to take 5 points of psychic damage, and as they do, their brain pops like a gusher in a microwave, covering Akia, Gaiman, and Mr. Blarden in its juices.
All right. Then she will go ahead and pass to Akia, and as she does, you see her quickly take out her notebook and just start furiously writing in it.
Hey.
Akia will move up, go over here, and they will pull out their hand axe and go to strike the back of this frozen ghoul. Akia believes that they are very strong. Well, I clicked it. Maybe it's not equipped?
What were you attacking with?
Trying to attack with a hand axe, and it's just not doing anything. Maybe I need to drag another one onto the sheet.
Weird. Sorry for technical issues. Oh,
Maybe that one was broken. So, as he goes to slash at the... as they go to slash at the frozen ghoul, their arm explodes in hydraulic fluid.
yes, and a 12 hits the ghoul for 1 point of slashing. As you hit the ghoul,
A 12? How'd I
Yeah,
get a 12?
hits. It attacked recklessly.
Oh, all right.
So that was an advantage.
As the axe sinks in, then his arm explodes in hydraulic fluid.
Perfect. Okay. You hit it. It hisses back at you, looking hungrily at the creatures that surround it.
And he'll look down and go, that's unfortunate. And pass to Gaiman if possible.
It is not possible.
No, it totally is possible. I'm back.
The ghoul striker will steal. It will continue to.
That's not possible. Right, got it.
It's gonna roll a d4. On an even, it will attack our barbarian. On an odd, it will attack our artificer. All right, it's going to attack the barbarian. It will target game in the glaive, and here comes a claw attack.
Oh my.
Okay, I promise I don't have it set to like automatically crit you or something, because I know it crit you twice last session. Okay, that is a 24 to hit for 5 plus 3 slashing. That's 8, and I need a con save or be poisoned. Okay, you are not poisoned. It looks at you, hisses, licks some of the blood off of its claw, and then Gaiman, you can steal.
Damn right I'm gonna steal. You stupid piece of shit! That hurt! Not fucking around! Gonna cut you down to size! And you see Gaiman reach onto his back, and he's going to draw out his great axe. Finally.
Oof!
And he's going to attack.
Oh my gosh, yes, that is a giant hit. The ghoul striker's bloodied in one shot.
In that case, yeah, that's all I got. I don't attack twice yet. All right, Alicia, push him off.
All right. Getting past me. Let's see.
Oh no, sorry, I was looking at the tracker. Raylan, polish him off.
Yeah, I think I
Alright.
got deleted off the tracker because the old Alicia was in there and not the revised one.
Mhm.
All right.
But yeah,
With
Raylan, you're good.
with almost imperceptible movements, Raylan moves into position as Gaiman and the ghoul exchange blows and raises her hand. How do I target again? This one, there we go. And fires a blast.
Oh my.
What does it look like as you critically hit this ghoul and
Um,
destroy it?
it is it's almost imperceptible ripples of I guess energy through the air. It doesn't actually have a corporeal form, but you can definitely feel and kind of see the world bend around it, and it smashes into the ghoul. I don't know, let's say it takes off an arm, and the ghoul collapses to the ground, blood spurting and then freezing midair.
Absolutely. And as you freeze the ghoul as it drops to the ground, we will remove it from combat and we will end combat. As combat ends, Barden kind of drops to his knees and has kind of like a reaction of spittling, like onto the ground as he took a lot of damage and he is not used to this type of life. What do the PCs do as you see the bodies of the undead, the body that they were attacking out ahead of you?
Alicia will kind of move over to Blarton, see that he's not doing so well. Also see that our big Goliath friend has also taken quite a few hits. If you don't mind, I can tend to your wounds. And they're going to first cast. Well, actually, you know what? I have two uses of this. I'm gonna just do it now. We're gonna use the new channel divinity ability twice. So that one's gonna be on Gaiman, and that will be on Blarton. Now, I wasn't able to figure out the actual formula because it says that it's supposed to be 2 rolls of your number of d8s equal to your proficiency bonus. The only way I was able to put it together was that it's your proficiency bonus and then multiplied by d8. I don't know if there's a better way of doing that, but
I think that is an eloquent situation, and I think that works just fine.
whoops,
I'm fine with it being a D8 times 2. That works perfect.
Okay.
You heal Blarton essentially up to full, and he stands up, kind of wipes the vomit from his mustache, and he says, "Oh, thank you, Alicia. I'm sorry that I wasn't more effective, but it's my first time seeing undead."
You did quite fine. It was unexpected, those two. They had a weird aura about them. Even I went down during the battle, which shames me.
You were saying something, Miss Akia? Or not Miss, Robot Akia?
I feel like I'm missing something. Why wouldn't you just roll 2d8?
Well, I mean, I guess it is one way of doing it. If I was doing it manually, but I was trying to do it for like when it scales as an actual formula. But yeah, 2d8 also would work. Yeah, I'll probably just do that actually.
I don't know about undead. This seems, be pretty active.
Are we sure they're not going to, get back up again? Do we need to decapitate them or burn them or anything?
Raylan's already walking around punching holes in them with Eldritch Blast just to make sure that doesn't happen.
Lotus will actually start following you around while you're doing that. So, Raylan, Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions about your magic?
I don't answer, but I look at you, somewhat like I'm challenging you or daring you to ask, but I don't say no.
Well, you see, I noticed something. It's like the way you use your magic, the way it manifests itself, but it's different than the way mine does. Uh, did, have you uh, have you noticed anything like that?
Uh, I so what? You're a dragonborn, and I will respond with many races have a spark from within, but it takes sometimes practice or study to draw that out. You and I aren't different in that regard.
I
I spent
see, I see.
I spent many years in a orrery or library learning magic.
As
Is there
you're saying
something
this,
specific you want to know?
she's you see her writing in her book, and you do notice that she isn't writing down exactly what you're saying. She's very much like abbreviating and paraphrasing it. She's like, "No, you see, I've only fairly recently become aware of my own magical abilities, and I'm, just trying to figure them out. Just
And so
just don't.
I'll just interrupt and say, kind of quickly, I've been alive for almost 300 years. I've learned a thing or two about magic in that time.
Well, it's just one of those things I've picked up from my old job before I became a Thane. I used to do a lot of writing.
Raylan narrows her eyes at you and says, just say it. Ask, what is it you want to know?
You think arcane ability, the way it manifests itself physically, do you feel it comes from uh, the user's mind, or is it something deeper?
Raylan ponders that for a second, and there is no one answer to that.
She taps the pen up against her cheek and gives a soft nod, looking. She definitely looks like she's satisfied by your answer. It's like interesting, very interesting.
Yes, there's more to share, but this is not the place for that.
Yes, of course. Forgive me. Here, I'll go take care of this one, and she'll take conjure a fire bolt and incinerate the zombie on the ground here.
Raylan gives you an approving nod, doesn't otherwise say anything. We'll punch holes in this zombie, and then do the same with these two. If they get back up, they'll be fairly useless. And then rejoin this group and missed most of the conversation they were having about the deceased.
So as you join the group over there, Raylan and Lotus, group that's over there, Gaiman, Alicia, and Akia, you find a human male, beard, white hair, broken spectacles, but something is strange about the body. You see, of course, that the ghouls were chewing on the creature that lies in front of you, but that is not what draws your eye. You see, sticking out of the creature's heart, a dagger made of ice. And you guys see the handout.
Yes.
Okay, you see
Yep.
this dagger plunge into the man's chest. Now, are any in the party proficient in the medicine skill?
Yep. At least she is.
I've got my book.
Your Grey's Anatomy,
It's WebMD.
WebMD. Okay, because you were
Before the internet was a thing.
before the internet was a thing. Absolutely, Alicia, because you are trained in medicine, as you are looking at this dagger sticking out of the man's chest, and you compare it to the ghoul wounds, this man was dead before the ghouls got to him. What killed him was the ice dagger.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to be serious and spooky here.
Can they take out a dagger from their side that's sheathed and kind of just like poke and examine this newer, more, I guess, natural looking kind of weapon? Kind of like peering around it, like seeing if there's like anything else unnatural about it.
Yeah, so you're using your dagger as sort of an instrument to examine the ice dagger.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As you kind of poke and prod at it, it's essentially, if you were holding the ice dagger in your hand with your other dagger, the only difference would be is that it was made of ice. Whoever took the time to craft this or carve it is a master sculptor because it is uncanny. It definitely looks like it has weight to it. It has the same thickness, and you can tell from the blade that it is razor sharp.
This is quite fascinating.
Did any of the zombies have daggers like this? Did we find any other ones among the corpses?
As you guys do a cursory glance to the zombies and the ghouls had no weaponry made from ice or snow.
They were just using claws and bites to attack us.
That is correct.
Would I have found any mentionings of an ice dagger during my research readings in Bryn Shander?
Yes, because you are from Bryn Shander. Give me a history check.
All right. 5.
Okay. This isn't setting off any bells right now. Perhaps the momentary adrenaline is still kind of clogging your otherwise highly tuned reporter sense.
Yeah. I guess like Lotus is just sort of like staring at it, trying to recall something, but then she just sort of starts like rubbing a bit of an itch under the mask before then quickly withdrawing her hand, not wanting to risk pushing it off of her face.
Well, these ghouls obviously didn't do this. But then that means there's someone else out here who decided to murder this man and run off.
Hey, DM, I am. Akia is suspicious that this is possibly like some sort of cult of Auril assassination. Can I roll like a history check for that?
Absolutely. Let's see what you get here. Oh my gosh.
I think it's secret chat time.
I'm gonna just tell you this out in the open here. So you have heard rumors, of course, Akia, you live in Goodmead, that there have been murders in Targos, in Bryn Shander, uh, and in one other city. Sorry, my brain just like did a little bit of a flip flop. In Bryn Shander, East Haven, and Targos, there have been murders, and you've heard that the murder weapon found at the site has been an ice dagger.
Just taking notes.
And this would match the MO as you're seeing this person that was murdered. Now, party, you see that there's the ice dagger in the chest. You guys have just been looking at the body as far as I can tell. Do you guys do anything else to the body?
I go through his pockets for loose change.
You go through his pockets. You find, unfortunately enough, you don't find a large coin purse, but you do find a like a set of identification documents, kind of like in a small leather-bound book. You see that this man, his name is Vladimiro Crowtrap.
Demon doesn't see that because he's like, oh, paper shit. All right. He
No.
just tosses it. Not like hard and far, but like throws it to the side. He's not interested.
Alicia will walk over, grab it, come back.
So,
Pop it open.
Lotus looks at the dagger. Just says like, are we just going to leave that there, or are we going to try taking that out? She says somewhat hesitantly.
It would not be good to be found with an assassin's murder weapon.
Right, what they said.
If
Come
Alicia
on, you
goes,
help me have something worthwhile on your body. Give it up.
if Alicia goes through the papers, is there any specific information as to where this person came from or was going?
Alicia, yes. You actually, as you start to look through the papers, you recognize this person. Vladimiro Crowtrap is a noble from a wealthy fisherman family in Targos. You would say, if there was a ranking system in Targos of richest families, this guy is either from the second or third richest family in Targos. They own a very impressive fleet of fishing vessels that fish the knucklehead trout. And as you're looking through the documents, it essentially kind of makes it look like this guy was heading for one of the smaller towns based on the writings. Like he was probably heading for Bremen.
They'll relay that to the group. If such an important noble from Targos was heading to one of the outlying villages, why were they not escorted? If anything, they can definitely afford it.
Lotus starts rubbing her chin a little bit. If I had to hazard a guess, if he was out here, maybe he might have gotten ambushed and tried to run away. Then the
Or
killer
he's trying
caught
to
up.
travel like incognizant, a big old group of people draws a lot of attention.
Possibly.
The killer ambushed him, managed to try to get away, but not for long, and then he ended up here.
Well, I can definitely at least say this. It would be very unfortunate to leave the body out here. Not that it will decompose quickly enough, but...
Or question for you. In this environment, are there like carrion birds and things like that? Like crows?
Yes. There are carrion birds. There are kind of animals that would come and eat. If a body was left out like this. Also, because it's Forgotten Realms and this is kind of a fantasy land, your carrion birds would also have to contend with things like giant vultures, giant eagles, peritons, things of that nature.
So, to the end that everyone's thinking, oh, this dude was traveling with an entourage, Gamon's going to stand up from where he's, just unashamedly trying to find something of value on this dude. He's going to end up just stealing his broken glasses because there seems to be nothing else there, and put them on his face. In the dim light that we have, does he see any creatures, circling? Are there birds circling? Or is there like an obvious sign like other people ambushed and dead? Because I'm guessing this happened recently, because otherwise the body would have been eaten by now.
It sort of was.
Well, no, like gone. Like there wouldn't be anything for us to find.
I get what you mean.
As you look around, you don't see any large birds of prey circling. You don't see any vultures. You don't see any crows. You don't detect any wolves nearby for the moment. There is no threat of being attacked by beasts.
Right, like I said, incognizant. He didn't want people to know he was doing stuff.
I guess we would look around for what direction. Actually, on second thought, it seems the party wants to. Does this group want to return this man's body to Targos?
That was going to be my suggestion. I would feel uncomfortable.
How do we get money if we do that?
I was going to say, I feel uncomfortable if we were to just leave the body out here for the carrion. If we return it to the family, I am sure they will appreciate it, and that appreciation could be in the form of monetary value.
Oh, let's do that.
Gamon, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but there's some things in life that are more important than money.
Like what?
Food, shelter, faith.
Things that you can all buy with money.
Well, I have something that I feel is important that you can't buy with money. And she'll tap the cover of her notebook. It says, knowledge. Knowledge is power, after all.
Right, and you have to pay to go to school, so money.
And you'll see her sort of roll her eyes at that. It's like, well, you're not wrong about that. I've probably still got about several years left on my student loans.
Student loans?
Yeah, it's some people don't have a noble's money to pay for school outright, so you have companies that'll give you loans to go to school. But I'll tell you, those interest rates are terrible, and they're all run by elves, and elves tend to live for a long time. So even if you die unable to pay them off, they just go after the rest of your family for it. It's a terrible racket.
No, that's not a racket. A racket is what you hit something with. That's criminals, what that is.
That 4 hit points is for you, Akia. See if that will mend your arm.
So while everyone's deciding what to do with the deceased, you notice that the spitting image of the deceased is standing in your midst, where Raylan used to stand.
Otis will startle and jump back a little bit.
Yeah, a wry smile curls across their face, and you hear Raylan's voice and says, well, this ought to be interesting, shouldn't it?
Lotus is still breathing heavily, holding chest. It's like,
chat and like. Gaiman's gonna try and like touch you or shove you, thinking that it's a ghost.
Okay. I guess I'll
Don't
give
get it. Are you dead or alive, mate?
You hear Raylan's voice that says, I'm very much alive. And now maybe...
Oh, Ray, got it.
Raylan shakes her head very slightly and he says, do you understand what I'm doing?
Magic.
Well, besides the obvious, yes. Someone wanted this man killed. Don't you think it'd be interesting if he showed up in town?
So you want people to try and kill you?
No, I think it might draw his attackers out. That would be the logical.
You're trying to get people to kill you.
You wouldn't understand.
No, I understand. You're looking like the dead guy there, who was already successfully killed by somebody, and you're gonna show up, pretend to be them, and actually, if the assassin's smart, they won't try and kill you. Because they will have known that they've already killed this bloke.
Or at least thought that they had succeeded.
Oh, kill someone
I
that
don't
might have...
know. A knife in the chest is pretty fucking definitive.
Okay, so Raylan waves her hand, and then a convincing knife wound appears on the doppelganger. Why, look, I got better. I was killed, but I lived. Shall we go?
Well, we can also aid in this deception, seeing as we're traveling with this new Valdemiro. Maybe we got to you in time before you expired. The assassin may not even know. Or they do. Either way, it will sow doubt into their heart.
Yes, that's the point. It'll draw those guilty out into the open. They will certainly want to see what happened, what went wrong.
Wait, I thought we were trying to find someone that tried to kill this guy, not, create a knitting circle.
Fair. Well, we should at least...
Raylan
Who's got a spare blanket they don't want?
Raylan transforms into the exact copy of Gaiman and just starts saying gibberish and ranting in a deep voice. Oh, look at me! I've got an axe. I know what I'm doing. Ha ha!
Lotus will start laughing at that.
At least
the resemblance is uncanny.
So, are you actually like playing around with like the fake great axe?
I guess I don't have a great axe because...
Well, no, I mean, I don't know to the extent of the spell, so that's why
it only duplicates my my person, not like other objects. I can pretend to be wearing stuff, but not like illusions of other objects that would be held, I guess. But I look just like you. Let me see. I'll give a deception roll. Do I sound like you? Oh, yes, I do. I sound better than you do. Everyone's now questioning which one's the real Gaiman.
This is a real parent trap situation here. Which one is the real Lindsay Lohan? We are not sure.
I might all hit you in the head.
We should make for Targos.
I agree. We should get out of this ice and snow. Your guardian friend will say. So, Alicia, to answer your question, as you look at these zombies and ghouls, their skin has desiccated far enough. Their bone structure has changed from the transformation from life to unlife. It would be hard to tell who they were in life or death. Maybe if they were freshly turned, you could tell, but
It's
at this point,
been too long.
How would you adjudicate a staring contest?
how would I adjudicate a staring contest? If you guys are wanting to engage in a friendly staring contest, I would say it's a battle of will. So I would say it's a pure constitution roll to see who can keep their eyes open the longest.
And Lotus will be standing here as the adjudicator.
While they're all doing that, Alicia is just going to be sufficiently determined that these aren't just, people from recent towns. We'll kind of take off their clothes and just to wrap up the body of Vlad so we can actually carry it in a bundle as opposed to just loosely.
Absolutely. So, as you are unwrapping the bodies, you can see that, well, you guys did significant damage to these creatures. You have heard of alchemists and blacksmiths in town that will pay coin for monster parts that are suitable for making materials or making items of use, or potentially they could be useful to you. So you guys get the feeling that you could potentially harvest from these undead creatures if you would like.
It's probably a little distasteful.
Only trouble with that is I don't have a
Alicia.
harvesting kit. I'm proficient, but I don't have the kit yet.
If you do not have a kit, what this would be to harvest is either a raw intelligence or a raw dexterity. And we have a new action on your guys' character sheet. It should be the appraisal action. I believe I put that under features.
Mhm.
Yes, appraise monster. So, because these are an undead, if you make a successful Arcana check, you will know what you could harvest, and then you will gain advantage on the harvesting check made. Okay, we're starting off hot. So, Akia, which creature are you Arcana-ing?
Oh, are we gonna do each of these separately?
Yeah, you might.
Oh,
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Y'all have fun with that.
This is gonna be a whole. This is gonna be a big whole thing. I guess the one in front of me.
Okay, on Rusted Frozen Ghoul Striker, it is a CR1 creature, so you successfully know. Ghouls have really not a whole lot going on for them. They've got two things that are valuable, essentially, to people. Their claws, obviously, and then their ichor. So if you have empty vials, you could try to harvest their ichor, and then you can try to harvest their claws.
I don't really have anything to put. I've got a water skin, but water is valuable. So
Yeah, I was gonna say you would dump out water and put ghoul juice in
I
it
mean,
instead.
I don't need to drink it, but
Well, I
I,
mean,
I
Others
know
might.
these. I know these fleshy skin bags do. So
Hey, and ghoul ichor, it's pretty good. It's a potion that you can drink.
mm.
Well, you can also drink, bog water, piss. So, do you want to drink ghoul ichor? I'm just saying.
Sure. I'll dump out my water skin or transfer it to someone else's if they want to switch. People have been drinking out of their water skin, and I haven't, so I'll switch with one of the empty ones, and I'll try and collect some ichor.
Okay, so this is either dexterity or intelligence. You will have advantage because you succeeded on your Arcana check, and this is for both the claws and the ichor. Oh, and you do have advantage because you succeeded on your Arcana check.
I saw that 15 and then it rolled over. There we go.
Okay, so Akia 13, you successfully get yourself a pair of ghoul claws, and you have emptied out your water skin, so you have one use of ghoul ichor. I will tell you what the ghoul claws do and what the ghoul ichor does. The ichor, when a creature comes into direct contact with the ghoul ichor, so drinking it, you pour it onto their skin, you pour it onto a knife and stab them with it, it must make a DC 10 Constitution saving throw. On a successful save, a creature gains resistance to poison damage for 1 hour. On an unsuccessful save, a creature gains 1 level of exhaustion.
Powerful.
So it's pretty good, but it's got, a serious drawback if you fail. The ghoul claws, you have 2 of them. It takes both. It can be crafted into a dagger. It will cost you 100 GP, and it will take 7 days. It's a magical dagger. Once per day, when you hit a creature with this weapon, the creature must succeed on a con save or become poisoned for a minute. A poison creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success.
All right. I don't have a way to store any more ichor, but I can harvest claws, I guess, from the other 2.
You know what? I think we're going about this the wrong way. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Yes, we have multiple bodies. I would like to make using tree limbs. Try and make like a sled type thing. Just throw the bodies on there, bring them along. Because, valuable, and we don't have vials and things. Just drag them to the next town.
What is the closest town?
You guys are heading to Bryn Shander. You are heading there after collecting everyone for your Thane mission. You're actually about 1 hour outside of Bryn Shander from your current location.
Yeah, I was going to say, we were like on the outskirts of town, weren't we?
Could you throw us at that map?
The 10 Towns map is
Sure.
activated.
Thank you. Okay, so Targos is still pretty close to us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would
it's like
say
right
you guys
next to it.
are like on this little stretch of road here on the east way. So you're kind of a rock and a hard place here.
I think we want to go back to Targos, right? Or quick vote? Quick vote?
I mean, the elf lady wants us to go back to Bryn Shander so we can be there. I mean, she'll probably still be there, right?
I mean, what's the worst that can happen? She fires us, then we can all go home.
I haven't been hired
Seems like
for
a
anything.
win-win.
Well,
I mean,
Lotus, how urgent?
Clearly, you haven't, pissed somebody off before. They can fire you without even hiring you. I've seen it happen.
Lotus, how urgent was this summons by her?
It definitely seemed pretty urgent to me. And, Gaiman, I don't think you should be... I think you need to maybe choose your words a bit more carefully. You say going home. Keep in mind some of us aren't from here. Like, for me, home is... And she pauses as if she's trying to find the right word. Home for me is very, very far away from here.
I don't think we want to take all these bodies through Bryn Shander.
mean, I'm just saying, like, we bring him to a point closer to civilization where we can get, glass thingies and fill up with, ghoul juice and, hack off the pointing bits.
All right, that's
I'm just
fair.
saying,
I'm sure.
like, we don't have everything we need to maximize the return on investment.
All right. Well,
You did
I'm
say
sure if we explain that we were making sure that this poor soul was put to proper rest, I'm sure they'll understand.
plus knowing what we. Well, hold on. Did Akia share the information about the whole murder stuff?
Yes.
Okay. So then, knowing what we know, I think that would be a good enough explanation as for why we didn't immediately come to Bryn Shander, seeing as this cropped up in our way. We are.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a
thing.
2-day. It was like a 2 or 3 day trip to collect everybody anyway. So I mean, an hour out of the way is not even a thing.
Yeah. Plus, we are the Thanes of Ten Town.
You say that like it's a good thing.
No, I say it as it's a duty that has been put upon us, one way or another.
Duty. No,
she just looks at you flatly.
It's a fucking punishment, let me tell you. And Gaiman sets about trimming off pine, tree limbs to make a transom.
You will receive help to kind of carry these things on the pine boughs. Blarton starts cutting things down and starts using some rope from his pack to assist you.
Oh, goody. I don't have to use my own rope. That works.
Yeah, as you're working, Lotus is sort of studying you, and as always, she has her notebook open and is jotting things down. Said, "So, Gaiman, I know you were very adamant to tell me that you weren't a child, so I'm curious, how old are you exactly?"
Gaiman's just gonna sort of stare at you.
Raylan, in her best Gaiman voice, says, "Oi, what are you talking to him for? I'm over here."
She'll give a little chuckle under her breath at that.
He's gonna let out a very exasperated sigh and just continue on his work.
Blarton says, I'm sorry to, barge in and help you, Gaiman. And
No, it's fine.
that you're
Keep at it.
someone who, might appreciate, doing this on your own. It's just, as he looks up to the sky, I fear that we might get trapped in the dark.
Nope, that's a legit concern. Keep at it. Let's go.
Yes, and you all know that your light only lasts from about 11 a.m. till about 2 p.m. And right now, according to my clock, we're at about 12:30. So it will take you roughly an hour to get to either Targos or to Bryn Shander. You're kind of in the middle. So you will get to the spot with about a half hour of dim light left.
Yeah, I figure we would have to be traveling back to Bryn Shander in darkness. Or whatever light that we have available to us. But that light is also within our hearts. Praise the Thunder.
Who's this lather guy you keep going on about?
They look at you with almost widening eyes. Would you like to know about Lathander?
Not particularly, just you seem to be really humping his leg.
Yeah, Lotus looks at you. It's like, is this the part where you pull out a pamphlet or a large book.
You see that she was. They were reaching into their pack to bring out a book. Maybe.
You just start hearing Lotus singing softly. Hello, my name is Elder Price. I would like to share with you this most amazing book.
Oh, I thought your name was Lotus.
It's fine. It's
Well,
fine. We can speak about it later.
If the transom's done being built, Gaiman will pile on the ghoul bodies that weren't harvested. I guess that leaves about 4. And we'll start heading in the direction of Targos with the trains.
I'm gonna say that in total, it would have taken you guys to build this kind of this makeshift transom, as you're calling it, 30 minutes. So we're gonna say it's right around 1 p.m. when you guys are heading to Targos.
Hey, DM, I've got a light I can turn on and off myself on my token, but it is too good.
It's too good.
Yeah, it's like a 30-foot torchlight, and mine are 5 and 5.
Oh, because you have your
My Tinker Rocks.
your Tinker Rocks. Absolutely. Because hold on.
Yeah, my Tinker Runestones.
How do I have negative money?
Oh,
How's that? How'd you get yourself in debt?
you remember what your original money was?
I'm checking on D&D Beyond right now.
Yeah, you can reset that. That must have been a bug. So yes, what we can do for you, Akia, is you can. I guess you can just set it to your little light bulbs when it's time to be in darkness. Okay, so you guys are heading to Targos.
Seems like
Yes.
Okay, so
All right,
you guys
money fix.
turn around and you march to Targos. Wind whipping, snow collecting on the boughs of the tree branches that you guys cut down to carry the bodies of the zombies and the ghouls.
And just for ease of, well, to minimize questions, there would have just been like extra limbs cut down, not for structural purposes, but for like covering up the dead bodies.
Sure, that makes sense.
So it looks like we're bringing in a sleigh of firewood.
Sure.
Except that we were really bad at it and just got a bunch of limbs.
Severed limbs.
people will be like, you're supposed to take the trunks of the trees, not the actual branches.
Oh yeah, DM. I did actually have like a lore question with the eternal night going on. I mean, if this is out of the scope of the adventure, that's fine. But are like all the forests like dead because there's no light? Did all the trees like go into hibernation, or they in a magic sort of stasis? Or
That's a great question. So the majority of the forest is around Lonelywood and Goodmead. The trees, for all intents and purposes, in Icewind Dale itself, are limited. The tree population has slowly been dying, which is very bad for most of the people in Tin Towns because their main source of heat is whale oil, which has been harder and harder to come by because the sea of moving ice is becoming more and more stagnant, you could say. There are less whalers hunting whales because they're dying. So with trees dying off one by one, heat and fuel, it's just all over bad, if that makes sense. So
yeah,
ending the winter sooner than later or helping people survive is
Er-
probably paramount.
Everyone's gonna have to switch to coal. Got it.
Burning coal inside your house when you live in a thatched roof hut.
The dwarves
Watch
are
out for
making
shock
out pretty
dwarf.
good though.
Yeah, they live in caves. They're like, we don't care. We'll keep each other warm.
Ooh,
Yeah,
you-
carbon monoxide poisoning doesn't exist, right?
They're like, guys, how are we gonna get rid of all this coal in the way of the good stuff? And someone runs down the mines. You're not gonna believe it, guys. The sun just went out. Our problems are solved.
All of the dwarves' eyes immediately turn into money signs. Okay, so you guys march an hour back to Targos. As you approach Targos,
Is Raylene going as Valdemiro?
Raylan's going as gaming.
okay, I'll make you a Gaiman transformation macro. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh, I did want to say real quick. As Lotus starts looking at Raylan, who's transformed into Gaiman, I guess anyone with a fairly high passive perception would notice Lotus just sort of like idly like fiddling with her mask a bit.
Is something
Like-
wrong, Lotus?
She catches that. She just suddenly moves her hand back to her side. Oh, nothing, Alicia. Nothing at all.
Hmm. Well, if you say so. A pop-up notification on your HUD. They will remember this.
So, as you guys approach Targos, perhaps Alicia shares this information, perhaps Barden shares it. You guys get a little bit of, maybe we can call it background information as you approach. Like Bryn Shander, Targos is encircled by a wooden wall, which helps to protect the town against orcs and other threats from the wilderness. The wall extends out into the loch, creating a safe harbor for the town's boats. But Auril's long winter has frozen the water in the harbor, and many of Targo's boats are trapped in the ice. Fishers must drag their vessels across the ice to get to the unfrozen lake beyond the harbor walls. Almost all the towns in Icewind Dale make their living off the lakes, but nowhere is that fact more evident than in Targos. This town has always had the biggest fishing fleet and the biggest fishing industry, and everything that goes on here revolves around the knucklehead trout out on Mare Dueldon. Auril's endless winter makes the work harder, but it gets done, nevertheless. And let me move you guys to the outside Targos map.
Have you decided whether it's pronounced Alicia or Alicia? There seemed to have been a debate last session, if I remember correctly.
I'll go with Alicia.
Now, Alicia, because you're a human, this will affect you. As you guys hit about 208 here, the dim light disappears, and it's dark as hell. However,
Yeah.
yeah, you guys can turn on light sources. There are light sources within the towns themselves. So each of the guard towers, the palisades. Oh, I turned the light back on accidentally. Oops. That's fine. But it is now pitch black outside, save your light sources. As you approach the gate here that would lead you Bryn Shander if you were to leave. There are 2 guards in each palisade, but the door that would lead you into Targos is still open. So you guys could enter at your leisure, and then you could tell me what you guys plan to do.
Alicia, do you have a necromancer problem?
Excuse me?
Does Targos have a necromancer problem? Zombies do not travel far.
I'm not sure I still follow what you're asking. No, I don't believe we would have a zombie problem. I mean, one of the shrines of Lathander is also based here, so it would be unbefitting to ourselves if we didn't notice something like that. Oh, did everyone's sound die?
Oh, sorry. My wife came in and was asking me why I was talking to someone named Alicia.
Honey, I'm playing a game.
Sorry to break it to you, Alicia's actually a dude.
Now, see, if I had the sexy voice of Ark, that would be completely acceptable. Unfortunately, I do not.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize on my behalf.
Aw.
Now, yeah. So we there's no necromancer problem, is what it sounds like.
If there was, then that means us acolytes are doing a poor job. Bounty out on zombies. I mean, could ask. Though I haven't heard of anything. Oh yeah, it's we got here right when it was pitch black time, so there's no lights.
But there are lights on in town.
Yeah.
Does dark vision not show up in here?
Let me look. Oh, so the map, I scaled it so that every square is 100 feet, because this is the town map. So your dark vision is actually accurate for.
Gotcha.
So let me just go ahead and put on a light in the town so you guys can just see what is going on. Now, Alicia, you're from here, so you haven't heard about any bounty out on zombies here in Targos. The only bounty that is out is for thick, heavy knucklehead trout.
Yep, unfortunately those knuckleheads have more of a pricing on them. But clearing the road of undead, maybe I can ask the clergy if they'd be willing to compensate.
This be in addition to returning old what's his face with the glasses that I took to his family.
Mr. Crowtrap, we should inquire about his family's location.
Yes, I would think it would be separate. Also, please put those back game in.
Fine.
At first, Lotus would have been following around Akia for a light, but then she tries something real quick. She looks a bit curiously at her hand and then gently taps the Lotus mark on her mask and says, "Everybody's got a little light under the sun." And then a light spell activates on it.
Oh my.
Or quick questions. There were what, 6 ghouls that we squared off against? Am I remembering that correctly?
There was 3 ghouls and 2 zombies.
And we harvested one ghoul, so
Okay, so there's only 2 ghouls left to harvest.
Correct. Now, as you guys come into town, something that you see a lot of, you see the heraldry of Targos basically flying from every building and painted onto the shields of the guards here. That, of course, is a single-sailed black ship facing to the right on a light blue field, representing the town's pride in its fishing fleet.
Serious question. Are you guys wanting to bring Gaiman along while you're going to, check on things with the clergy and, checking in on, Vlad Crowtrap's family?
If Gaiman can behave himself, sure. I don't see why not.
There's
yeah, he's
no
he's-
guarantee of that.
Well, he's part of the group, so Lotus would just naturally expect him to come along.
Yeah. Same here.
Listen, if you were going to be doing, a bunch of talking, it's boring.
But Gaiman, you said you wanted money. We can
Well,
take these to an alchemist and possibly sell them for coin.
I understand that. I could do that. Well, the
Then
rest
there
of you...
is no problem.
Right, just like if you go into, Crow Claptrap's, family, there's going to be all sweeping and blubbering and blah, 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 blah. And, yeah, it's not my scene.
I suppose you and I could go to an alchemist while the
That sounds like an excellent idea.
We immediately split the party.
No. And I said in session 0 to not to. No, I didn't. Oh gosh, I should have known that this was going to happen.
It would be much easier to move around town if we go to an alchemist first.
All right. Alicia,
Dia,
where's
try
the
and find
nearest
alchemist.
I'm assuming you guys are asking me where is an alchemist in Targos.
Yeah, I think we
Yes.
just want to sell these ingredients. Did you want to try? Did anyone actually want to hold on to the ichor to try and poison people with exhaustion?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's shit I can put on my axe before going into a fight.
Yeah, that does sound like a really cool idea.
Question for the DM: how many people are walking around right now? Like, are there a lot of city folk or townsfolk about, or is it pretty deserted right now?
Great question. So Targos is really right behind Bryn Shander in total population. Bryn Shander kind of dwarfs all of the other cities when it comes to just people. But Targos is pretty close. Targos has about 1,000 people. Because it's dark outside, of course, and cold, not everyone wants to be out. So you could expect about 10% of that to actually be out at any given time. So there's about 100 people out in the town, and that includes people out on the lake, guardsmen operating along the walls, and people running in and out of stores.
All right, Gaiman, I will give you this ghoul ichor, and but that means I also don't have any other containers or anything, and I have 0 money to buy containers. So if we can sell these ghouls and zombies to an alchemist, we can start saving up money for a harvester kit.
DM, would Alicia know of the shrine that's here? Would they do anything with the undead parts, or would they essentially just give those over to an alchemist or something?
So the place that you think the best to sell those would be actually it's listed on the map here. It's Triglio. Triglio is the name of the general store in town.
Huh.
It actually gets its name from the famous she shanty of Targos, and people sing it when they go out and fish and they're hard at work. They sing Triglio, lads and oyster upon the line. Triglio, lads and bring your fishers in. Triglio.
Oh wow, they actually made a song for it.
Hmm.
Nice.
Then at least
Yeah, I totally just didn't make that up right now.
we'll point them in that direction. Maybe I can just report it into the shrine later.
All right. Hi ho to Triglios.
And Alicia.
DM, I
go
was
ahead,
just
go
gonna
ahead.
say I don't have the ability to actually do this. I was just gonna put the ghoul ichor from my character sheet to Gaiman's.
Do I not have that mod active? If you right-click the Ghoul Ichor, can you send to player?
Oh, I can.
Alicia, I was going to ask. I'm giving you player agency here. Where in the town would you say that the Shrine to the Morning Lord is? And we will put it on the map there.
Let's see. If this is Triglio and this is Town Hall, I would kind of see it maybe being somewhere like around here-ish.
Okay. So we'll say right there for right now.
Or, okay. So, recap from last session. Targos was the city that unfortunately would burn people for what's it call it? Appease for warmth and Auril and stuff like that, right?
That is correct.
Where would, I guess, like the town square be?
Oh, where would the town square be? I would say, just looking at the
I
map
see
here,
Town Hall here.
I'm thinking that it's going to be actually right here.
Right there.
Basically, right in the center of town is where they have the pyre that they burn the people.
Okay. Then I'm probably actually thinking that the shrine may be like here on like a major road that kind of leads towards it.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry for moving it a little bit.
So yeah, it's going to be in one of these buildings here.
Yeah. Lotus will look around and she'll comment about how, like, this place actually reminds me a little bit of home. Except my hometown didn't have a pyre for sacrificing bodies.
Yes, well, that's an unfortunate side effect of this darkness.
So send to player doesn't have Gaiman as an option, but it has the other three. So that's weird.
Okay. What is potentially causing that? David, if you right-click the player list, which is down at the bottom left.
Okay.
Is Gaiman selected as your character?
List David. I mean, I've got Gaiman selected, but it lists my name.
And let's see here. Oh, Matthew, do you have Akia 13 selected as your character?
No, I don't have an option to do that.
What? That's weird. It should allow you to do that because you have control of them. But so Gaiman needs a ghoul ichor.
Correct.
Okay, you have a ghoul ichor. All right. So where is your guys' first destination? Is it Triglio?
Probably. I think that'd be the first stop. And then if Felicia knows of, would there be like a nobles district or something of where this crow, gosh, what's his name?
Crow Trap.
Crow Trap. Where their residence would be.
Absolutely. The noble district is actually going to be the residences near the Luskin Arms.
Okay.
Do we plan on making this delivery in person? Should we not hand this over to the authorities? I just think it might be a bit tacky to say, hey, we found this out in the woods.
Well, my thoughts were we would deliver the body to the shrine, and then they can make a notification to the family that the body was discovered outside of town. And they will be able to handle it from there.
All right, then. So, still, I feel like we should probably tell someone other than the shrine, the folks in the shrine. Just seems a bit
I mean, we can
irresponsible.
inform the speaker, if anything. If that's what you're asking for.
I forget, was this Crow Trap person somebody?
Only... were they a son, or were they like the head of one of the rich families?
They were the son of the second or third richest fishing family in Targos.
Only the son of one of the richest families. Not but one of the richer families in Targos. So I would say that's with some importance.
Raylan kind of leans back and just takes that in and thinks, yeah, this definitely probably is of interest to the constable or whatever they have here. Someone else may want to know this.
Well, we can go to the town hall. Speaker, I have their name listed. I definitely know I have their name listed. I will find it. The speaker and the authorities would most likely be there.
Do we know where the town hall is in this? Oh, I can see it. Never mind.
Speaker Naeth.
What's that?
Speaker Naeth of Targos. They would know what to do. So we would just have to go to town hall if they're there.
It's about 2:30, 3 o'clock. It's definitely still working hours.
All right, so we don't have enough money to actually do anything with these corpses, so I think we're just gonna try and sell them. DM.
Makes sense to me. Okay, so first stop is at Triglio's. So you guys start heading over to Triglio's. Working inside the establishment is a person that, Alicia, you probably know decently. It's a pretty small town. Their name is Justin Hoonray. They're a human. You would describe them as a scarecrow-like fellow, very tall, gaunt, not any fat on them. Their one defining feature, their left hand was crushed in a boating accident.
Unfortunate accident. tried what we could, but unfortunately, well, actually, I don't know when this would have occurred, but in unfortunate accident.
So yeah, they are behind the counter in Triglios, doing some work as you guys come in.
Greetings.
Oh, wait. I think I. Are you? Are you the Thane of Goodmead? I'm sorry if you are not, but your reputation precedes you.
It's quite alright, Justin.
Oh, good Thane of Targos. Yes. Uh, what can I do for you all?
You know better than that. It's just Alicia.
Oh, well, excuse me. I'm just so nervous these days with everything that's been happening, and the thought of never seeing the sun again is still an ever-present danger.
Oh, I think you're overreacting a bit. But it's alright. These good individuals would like to sell some undead that we unfortunately came across on our way to Targos. Well, Bryn Chander more or less, and then we took a detour here.
Undead, you say? Oh, that would be quite useful. There are a
Yep.
lot of would-be wizards around. Have you all heard about this?
They probably have, and probably don't interact with them much.
Wait, are you talking about, nerds with, long beards and pointy hats?
Well, I think some of them may fit that description, but have you all heard of the Arcane Brotherhood from Luskin?
Can't say I have.
Raylan is paying attention but says nothing.
Well, I've heard rumors, and a couple of them have stopped in, that there are multiple members of the Arcane Brotherhood around Tin Towns seeking something, some type of arcane secrets, from what I've heard.
At the mention of an arcane secret, Lotus will peek up and just suddenly march forward. It's like, arcane secret? What sort of arcane secret?
Oh, well, they would share something like that with me. I am just the owner of this general store, a basic alchemist. And here, let me show you guys Justin's art here as I drag them out to Triglios.
Good to be able to put a face to to his speech.
Oddly familiar face.
And to answer your question, Gaiman, sorry, I just saw that. It's a one-time use.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry I don't know more, but I even heard that one of the members of the Arcane Brotherhood was in East Haven, like collecting adventurers for some type of mission.
East Haven. Interesting. She'll quickly open up her book and just start writing everything down.
I'd like to do an insight check to see if his body language is indicating maybe he's holding some information back.
Yes, please give me an insight check.
So while he's saying that, I'm eyeballing him pretty overtly at this point, and I feel like there may be more to this. He's speaking in very vague terms, but he's got to know more than he's letting on.
With your insight, you detect that, yeah, he has some maybe more information than he is leading on, but this is quite common in Tin Towns, as you never know when something is going to be more valuable than what it is, and you should typically play your cards close to the vest.
Okay.
Well-
I walk up to him and I put a single gold piece down and say continue.
He looks at you and he slowly slides it back. He says, "Well, I should say that I was leaving maybe something out. That same wizard from East Haven, well, I recognize something about him that perhaps he didn't want others to know. Are you familiar with the land of Thay?"
That doesn't sound particularly familiar to me, and I kind of look at him blankly.
He looks to the others in the group.
Hmm.
Well, I'm a consonant person who loves to read, and I recognized a certain tattoo upon the man. He is a red wizard of Thay. If you are unaware, Thay is a majocratic nation to the east of the Sword Coast, ruled by a lich. And it's kind of
Sounds very Dragon Agey.
yes. They is 100% like a nation of bad guys. Like the wizards are like shave their head, put tattoos all over their body, try to enslave everyone they meet. The the literal king of it is a lich named Zastam. It's just a bad place. Uh, but when I
And so,
recognized him for what he was, he quickly hid the tattoo, and I think whatever they are looking for here in the Dale is, I think, not to belong in the hands of a red wizard.
and did he come in here and buy anything?
They bought a few potions of healing and a few vials of acid.
Common
That's
stuff.
pretty benign. Is there anything else that we should know?
He looks to you and says, "I overheard uh, him speaking to the mercenaries that he hired, that they would be heading out into the wilds of Icewind Dale. They wouldn't be sticking around Tin Towns for long. So whatever they're looking for, uh, is going to be a long and painful journey, I'm guessing. I wouldn't want to spend that much time away from town." And he kind of shudders.
Well, luck be with them if they're trying to find something out there.
That sounds like good for us that whoever they are and whatever they want shouldn't impact us too much, I hope. And Raylan just looks around at the rest of the group to see what they're doing.
Lotus is still writing down in her notebook, but then you see her stop suddenly, and she just sort of seems to be staring off in a nearby window, just sort of looking off into the distance.
Akia is just standing by the corpses, just waiting.
And I'm sorry if I have gotten you all off track or done something to slow this process down.
No. didn't slow anything down. And Gaiman just is going to start picking up bodies and just stacking them on top of the counter.
Akia does the same.
Oh, boy, it's not on the counter.
Well,
Yeah, hearing this, Lotus quickly picks up her notebook and just jumps back. I'm like, always, you need to warn us before you start doing that.
I'm sorry. I assumed Gaiman knew what he was doing.
Well, I think that was your first mistake.
Now, are you planning to sell the 2 ghouls and the 2 zombies?
That's correct.
Yep.
I'm willing to buy them, of course. And he rubs his hands together. I am willing to buy the zombie bodies for a total of 22 gold pieces, and the zombie bodies for 22 gold pieces, and the ghoul bodies for 22 gold pieces, for a total of 44 gold pieces.
Right, and what does like a harvesting kit cost?
Oh, are you interested in becoming a more skilled harvester?
Maybe.
Checking. I thought I had one in here already inducted. Give me 1 second. He looks down at the ghoul and he says, "Oh, both claws intact, good." And then he kind of looks at the wound and he kind of almost like squeezes it like Dr. Pimple Popper, and he says, "Okay, still filled with ichor, perfect." He goes to the zombies. "Oh, perfect. Their hands are still here. Their head is still here." And then he takes out a syringe and he pops it into the zombie and he starts pulling juice out of the zombie. Good, still filled with juice.
There was one additional ghoul, but just had to see what was wrong with it.
He says, "I can sell you a harvesting kit for 30 gold pieces."
And with 15 gold left over?
He says, "I can make that happen." Now, a harvesting kit is everything the average harvester needs to prepare and harvest a carcass for usable parts, including a skinning knife, a bone saw, 2 glass vials, pouches of salt, and tweezers. Proficiency with this kit lets you add your proficiency bonus to any check made to harvest a creature. And I would say you can choose to use either. I would say one of 3 skills. You could either use your intelligence, your wisdom, or your dexterity.
Well, for gaming, it's going to be dexterity.
All right.
So he looks and he says, "So I will trade you the harvesting kit and 15 gold pieces, and I will take these zombie bodies. I'm so happy. People really love the zombie juice."
That's
DM, sorry,
disturbing.
what'd you say that the dagger was that could be made out of those claws?
The dagger? Okay, it's basically once a day you can try to poison someone with the dagger. And it's magical for overcoming damage resistance.
Does anyone want to take these claws, or should we sell them as well?
I think it'd probably be useful to at least keep the claws to make a dagger out of it.
Very well. Do we all get 5 gold then? Wait, 15? No, 3 gold.
3 gold?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I mean, Gaiman's not going to feel like he keeps the money. He's going to try his best to do division and fail. And he's just going to sort of push the money around and then kind of like walk away. It's like, it's nerd shit. Someone else figured this out.
We'll just use quick division so we don't argue over money a lot.
Absolutely. So you should now have harvesting kit under your tools. Let's roll it. Let's see. You are adding your proficiency bonus and your dexterity. Perfect.
Oh.
Mr. Justin says, well, thank you so much for these new bodies. I'm sure to be quite a lot of interesting items from them. If you ever have anything else, please come back and I will be sure to make you a good deal. Oh, I see that. Is there another body out there on your bows?
Nah,
Keeping
that one's not for sale. Unfortunately, there was something else that needs to be reported to the speaker.
Well, all right. Well, I will not peer any deeper into that, but I want to thank you all for selling me these and patronizing my store. It's always a pleasure to see you, of course, Alicia.
They'll just give
Yes,
a bow.
And don't worry, if we encounter this arcane brotherhood, we didn't hear about it from you. And she'll give him a wink.
Wait, I'm sorry. I was so overwhelmed by the thought, and of course the seeing the undead at my doorstep. I just now recognized you're the Thane of Bryn Shander. You're the White Lotus.
Well, yes, indeed I am.
Is it true that your mask holds a power so strong that if you were to remove it, that it would erase you and all memory and evidence of you from this universe? Do you have some type of magical bomb under that mask?
So we'll give a bit of a grin, and she'll take a hold of the side of it and just lift it up like about a centimeter and say, "Would you like to find out?"
He has already hit the deck. You guys see him. Ah!
She'll give a bit of a chuckle and just say, like, everything. I used to date an alchemist when I was in college, when I was going through my goth phase. It's always fun to mess with them.
Makes sense.
He looks up from the ground.
Everything's fine, Justin. Have a good day.
Have a good day, everyone. And you see that he is pulling the zombies into the back of the shop, and he has multiple extractors ready. It looks like he's going to extract himself some zombie juice.
Can I just roll an insight check just for my own sake that this guy's not going to make pies out of these things?
Yeah. What is he making a zombie extract for? You know that he is eccentric and odd, but he is not evil at his heart. You know that he is extracting that zombie juice simply because zombie juice allows wizards to... It basically acts as an embalming fluid that is fast-acting, never goes bad, and has a tint of magic to it.
Oh, well, I guess the shrine probably purchases that every once in a while for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was just for my sake that this guy doesn't also have a barbershop, like on the second floor or something.
The question is, how many Johnny Depp characters can we fit into this campaign? The answer is, we'll see.
I was thinking your answer would be all of them, of course.
Or just yes.
Yes.
All right.
Let's hurry to the town hall.
Yes, let's go.
Yeah. Lotus would, though, say, "I apologize for his outburst there. It's actually not the first time I've heard that about my mask."
Oh, it's quite beautiful and intricate, I must say. I'm sure there is some sort of story behind it, though not one as far-fetched as that.
Indeed, and while I would like to take the credit for it, it's not one I made myself. I'm not very good at crafting such things. It was made for me. and as she says that, you can tell she's sort of like lapsing into a bit of a memory there, and then she just quickly shakes her head. But well, we can worry about that later. We have other things to tend to.
Hmm.
Okay, so you guys quickly make your way to the town hall. The streets are not filled with people. It is very rare when you guys actually run into someone, uh, and you are not beset by a mountain of guards when you arrive. As you come to the town hall, you see outside is only two guards, and when you walk with them, Alesha, they welcome you inside. And the town hall, even though Targos is a large city, is actually quite sparse and kind of sitting right in the door. It's almost like you would almost call it a shack from how small it is the speaker. Nereth Max Sildana. And Larkin would give him the, hey, you're a guard, I'm a guard, and they give each other the nod as they walk in.
Speaker Nerf. I'll just kind of give them a nod.
He looks to you all and he says, how can I help you? I have a gap in my schedule. I guess that I could see a group of Thanes. He sees that literally, like, it's a group of Thanes have just come in. Please come in out of the cold and sit down. I'm sure that you have something important to say.
How many people are in the town or city hall with us?
So the two guards outside are staying outside, shivering. The speaker, and then he has basically two attendants in here that he was pontificating to that were taking notes for him.
Okay, so definitely not a lot of people hanging around that may not need to hear this information. So I think that we can proceed. Alicia, do you want to fill him in on what happened?
Sure. Well, I guess Alicia will look at the two attendants and will be like, is it possible to clear the room, speaker? Maybe just keep this between us for right now. And if you wish to share it, then by all means, do so.
The speaker nods, and his two attendants leave without a word. They're used to this type of action.
Once they've kind of left the room, well, I don't come bringing the best of news, speaker. Miss Lotus here was collecting us from the various towns, around 10 towns. We were on our way to Brinshander. Along the road, we encountered a group of undead, and it seems like they were munching on a body. That body belonging to one. I am always gonna get this dude's.
Valdemiro Crowtrap.
Yes. One Valdemiro Crowtrap.
He holds his hand to his forehead, kind of squeezes, and he says, that isn't good for the town.
Unfortunately, it's probably even worse. The body... He wasn't killed by those undead. He When we found him, he had a dagger made of ice stabbed through his chest. That's what
The
killed
ice
him.
knife killer, then.
If that's what they named him, sure. But it seems he was a victim of that person.
He nods. In our 3 towns here, Targos, Bryn Shander, and East Haven, there have been murders that have been happening near the new moon, of course, when the sacrifice to Auril happens. We sacrifice to Auril, and then a few days later, or maybe even a week later, someone is murdered from that town.
Perhaps someone is upset about your choices in sacrifice.
Says, I'm willing to listen to all theories because I have no suspects. My guards are investigating everything they can, but we have no grand investigator.
Well, I imagine being from one of the noble families, they probably have some sort of rivals or enemies. Don't know if one would be enough to hire a killer, but it's a possibility.
Wait, I was born and just wasn't paying attention. So, wait, a bunch of rich fancy pants people are getting offed? Or was it like random people?
He looks to you and he says, maybe there's something here that I've missed. Well, if my memory serves correct, a halfling trapper in East Haven was killed, if my information is right. That trapper owns a pelt and leather workshop. A glass blower in Bryn Shander was murdered, and as I'm sure you all know, glass blowing is quite the profitable career. And then a month back, a shipwright in Targos was murdered.
Yep, sounds like fancy pants people.
Well, it sounds more like working class people or those with some sort of occupation.
Right, fancy pants people, because they're not just, farming and hunt to, make do. They're crafts people, right? People with,
Trade skills.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know if there's still a specific thread between all the different murders, but
Were these people otherwise upstanding? Or had they found themselves in some sort of financial trouble? Or what have your guards turned up?
Well, the people that have been murdered, at least in Targos, and if we include Vladimiro, are all wealthy or wealthy enough. No one that's been murdered is a poor fisherman.
Where does one craft an ice knife in 10 towns?
He laughs. I mean, go to any of the glaciers and get yourself a hammer and a chisel. But more seriously, I feel like a knife made out of ice would be a poor weapon.
No, it's solid. It doesn't get poured out. it's a knife. You stab people with it. It's not liquid.
Hmm. So I don't know how someone with a poured weapon or otherwise is murdering anyone.
It's an ice knife.
Now, I'm no wizard, but isn't there a spell called Ice Knife?
Gaiman kind of looks around to the magic users.
Raylan nods in the affirmative.
See, there you go.
I wanted to be snarky and be like, "It's not on my spell list."
Lotus will start flipping through some of the her notebook and say, spells. Let's see here. Ice knife. Ah, here we go. Ice knife. Conjuration school. Yeah, here we go. Generally available to druids, sorcerers, and wizards.
Well, it does narrow some things down.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't that spell the knife like explode or something and send shatters everywhere? I would say anyone who has training in Arcana, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's like Lotus nods. I'm like, yes, it looks like the idea is that create an ethereal shard of ice and you fling it at someone. And then, yes, whether it hits or misses the intended target, it then explodes. So it wouldn't have been, this one we found definitely wouldn't have been created with that.
Well, so you've brought this this body before me, this information. Did you bring it for my advice or for alternative reasons?
Well, I guess advice, if anything.
What's an alternator?
I believe we were attempting to return it to its family.
Which would also
Well-
fall under advice.
Oh yeah, that one for for reward.
I think potentially the best thing we could do here. Let me give the body back to the Crow Traps. As the town speaker, as someone who is influential with all of the fishermen here in town, there won't be any questioning on me. There won't be any, "Oh, you found my dead son. So conveniently out in the winter, and now you want a reward." I won't have that kind of questioning. So let me give the body back to the family.
Okay. Since Alicia's been here for at least a year or so and probably been interacting with him, what would they know of his disposition, more or less? Like, he's upstanding or
So he is
law-abiding?
definitely lawful. He won the speakership because of his popularity with all of the fishers here in town. He is definitely someone who has tried to boost the economy. Everyone who meets him describes him as cordial, down to earth, and someone you could imagine yourself drinking a beer with.
Okay. yeah, more or less, I'm trying to like get an understanding of what they have rolled like insight checks on him, just to make sure like, he's not sus over like the course of the year that she's probably known him.
Okay, so
Stuff like that.
What we can do here for this, give me an insight check. And this is going to represent your insight checks that you have made against him over the year to see.
Cool, middle of the road.
Basically, what you thought about him.
All right.
Yeah, you've probably had the same type of thoughts. He's cordial. He's down to earth. He's always one to smile. And he's always done a really, really good job of just uniting the people of Targos.
Okay. Okay. So then I imagine then, yes, with the proposition that he is kind of giving, Alicia will agree with that. In case the party kind of like also tries to, ask if this is a good idea, Alicia will kind of back up the speaker.
I do have one question. The only real lead we have to go on, since everything seems otherwise random, the association with the sacrifices being made by the towns. If someone has expressed displeasure with the way that sacrifices were chosen, that might show a sort of desire to make their own choices in terms of sacrifices.
That is correct. I mean, myself and all of the other speakers, we kind of have our arm twisted behind our back by the Church of Auril. They demand the sacrifice, and while the snow still falls, the sun has not come out, our town is not completely frozen over, so for that we have to be thankful. So we have to listen to what they ask.
Has anyone with the church, or possibly otherwise, expressed that there should be more sacrifices?
Not to me. We are only required to sacrifice one person every month at the new moon to Auril.
I see. Then perhaps this is a dead end.
But
serious question, like these churchy folks, like, are they picking the person that gets sacrificed? Is it like
I
drawing
believe
a
that
name
it's
out
a
of a
lottery.
hat? Right. So, how many of these churchy folks have put their name in and been picked?
all of the citizens of Targos' name are in the tumbler, and we spin the tumbler round, round, and round, and then your name is picked out of the tumbler.
Lewis will give a bit of a cough at that, just say, may the odds be ever in your favor.
Okay, so you're like assuming that, the churchy folks' names are in there. Has anyone ever looked?
I can assure you, no one is completely excluded from this.
I'm just saying, it's like these, high and mighty lots, and they're like, ooh, 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 ooh. But, do they have any skin in the game?
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Gaiman might have a point.
We could go and ask them.
You guys hear a knock at the door. You hear a deep voice from outside. Speaker, It is I, Scath. And he says, Scath, you'll be needed for this. Please come in. And you see a tiefling wearing full plate armor come in. You would recognize them, Alicia, as the leader of the town militia.
They'll just give Scath a nod.
Thane, it is good to see you. Speaker, there are reports that Yetis have been coming close to Targos, closer than ever before. We are going to have to double patrols. We do not want Yetis climbing the walls, stealing children in the night. The speaker looks to him, and then looks to you guys, looks back to him, and then, like, basically is scratching his head at all of the moral quandaries that are crossing through him now, at the moment. And he looks back to you, the Thanes. If you do not have too much on your plate, we will continue to conduct investigation into who has been killed. If you feel that you have the time and resources, I empower you to find out more about this selection process and the Church of Auril.
When exactly is the next sacrifice scheduled?
He looks to Scath, and Scath says, well, it's the next new moon, which would be the 20th of Marpanoth. So you have around 30 days.
That is some time away.
So actually it would be 28 days. So in 28 days, 3 people are going to be sacrificed to Auril. Of course, 1 in Targos, 1 in East Haven, and 1 in Bryn Shander. And if the murder is to continue, then 3 more people will be killed, potentially.
Oh, I think I may have misunderstood. You guys were talking about the Church of Auril. I thought you guys were talking about the Church of the Morning Lord.
This frickin' Morning Lord, Lathander.
I completely may have misunderstood that.
How long is it between the lottery and the execution?
The lottery occurs the morning of the day of the new moon, and the execution happens at dusk.
Mm-hmm.
OOC, I thought he was about to ask us to patrol the walls tonight.
For Yetis?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're about to be asked that.
Why would he ask you guys when he has this super buff tiefling to do it for him? Look at that guy.
Because the tiefling's got a thing.
Very well. Alicia, if you could direct me to the local Church of Auril, I shall inquire inside.
Would Alicia know of there being a church in Targos?
The main hub for the Church of Auril is actually in Bryn Shander. So all of their people basically are in Bryn Shander, and then they go out to the subsequent towns, and then they travel back. And actually, Lotus, you would probably know this because you are Bryn Shander's Thane.
Okay, I guess
So,
another question would be, is there a representative from that church in Targos that Alicia would know?
So what they have done is, at one point in Bryn Shander, there was this grand tower called the House of the Triad. It honored the gods Tyr, Torm, and Ilmater. They kind of took that over and turned it into the House of Auril. So if you guys want to go there, you can. To answer your question, Alicia, yes, there is a local representative here in Targos. You have not had close dealings with them, so whether you knew their location at any given time would be hard to do.
But I would at least know of them.
Correct.
Okay.
And
Then I think Alicia would give that information to the party. There is a local representative from the church here in Targos. I do not know where they are. They'll look at Nearth to see if he can answer that question, but
he nods and he says, I am supposed to have a meeting with this representative on the 29th of Elliot. So here in a few days. So if you wanted to, you could sit in on a meeting. Otherwise, I'm sure that they're at their grand tower in Bryn Shander.
oh, well, we were going to be heading to Bryn Shander, so maybe we'll just meet them there. Or just meet the whole clergy.
Oh my gosh.
Do
Are
you
guys gonna
remember?
do a murder hobo into the, the church of
I don't know about all that.
No. Not at all.
That sounds like a TPK waiting to happen.
Yeah, especially considering we haven't had any rest yet.
Yeah.
Oh no, Akia's like totally down to just go talk to them.
The local representative is a female half-elf. I'll drop her name into the chat here. Her name is Sybil Sithreth. She is your local Church of Auril representative.
Okay.
Hooray. Well, that is at least a lead. We are injured somewhat. Shall we spend the night here before traveling back to Bryn Shander?
I think that would be the wise decision, especially if we end up running into more undead on our way.
Or Yetis.
That is true. Yetis would be a much worse situation for us than those zombies.
As you mentioned the Yeti, Scath looks to you all and he says, so, a true telling of a warrior here in Icewind Dale is their ability to make a Yeti call. Any of you got a good one?
Are you asking like us to pretend to do like actually do Yeti call or just like roll for it?
I will say it's an immediate success if you make a Yeti.
Alicia
He's
will
looking like
refrain from doing this.
he looks like a man
Huh.
who is getting ready to make a Yeti sound effect. You guys.
Hold on, let me
This
see.
probably isn't the
Let's see what I
first
got.
time that Scaff has asked this.
Raylan, I don't believe that you do a very good Yeti call.
Yeah, Raylan was just about to try to belt one out and choked on air.
Lotus will put one hand on either side of her mouth and just be like, "No, this is how you do it." She goes like that.
All right. So I get out one of a glowing runestone, and flip out my thieves' tools out of my hand and do some scritching and scratching on it to rework the rune, and it starts emitting a sound. It's really good.
Is it the sound of a Yeti?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just constantly coming out of the stone now.
He says, that's pretty good. And he's like, here, what do you think of mine? And he cups his hands over his mouth. He takes a deep breath. And he starts his Yeti sound. And he looks to you guys. What do you guys think? Is that pretty good? And he stops.
That's pretty
Keeman
good.
has to give it to him.
Yeah, Lotus looks very impressed, and it's just like, you might want to be careful. I think it might be a little bit too good.
He says, "Wait, you don't think that? I'm just trying to bring him down. You don't think that I was making a Yeti baiting call or anything, do you?"
Sorry to break it to you, but that's exactly what you were doing.
Oh no.
Well, it will certainly bring them to you, but probably not in the way that you would like.
If you're
Yeah,
looking,
your Yeti call brings all the boys to the yard.
if you're looking for a date, I think you may be finding one later tonight.
He looks terrified because it is indeed his job this night to prowl for Yetis.
Well,
Yes, I think you're going to want to go a bit of I think about half an octave lower, and I think that should do it.
So something more.
Cut out.
Hello?
he's typing. Oh, his computer just turned
Oh, shit.
on.
All right, short rest.
Hold on a second. Did I build an intermission screen? I think I did. It's somewhere around here, right?
Maybe the better way to put it is the Yeti call brings all the threats to the Targos?
No, it's not on the right thing.
Nah, that's a stretch.
There we go. Gonna just quickly throw intermission on right now until Orf gets back.
Cue the Monty Python intermission music.
So yeah, I guess we stay here for a long rest and then head to Burnchander in the morning.
Sounds like a plan.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep, we got you.
I don't know what happened. My computer just like turned off in the middle of me making a Yeti noise.
Oh, it wasn't like a power outage or anything?
No, like everything is on in my house. It just my computer just went boop.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blame my I'm gonna blame my music bot. I bet it was the music bot. So it sounded like you guys talking to the speaker. You guys are going to investigate further into the Church of Auril. The speaker is going to continue talking to Scath about these Yetis. And then you guys are getting a rest. Is that correct?
Yeah, we need to get rested before we take on another fight.
Oh yeah.
Now, the best place to rest here in the city of Targos is the Luskan Arms.
I would say on our way there, let's look to the group and say like, so I guess we could discuss this now before we get to our accommodations for the night. How will we be doing that? Like, who's sleeping in what room with whom?
Oh, I will be going back.
Wait, are you propositioning us?
Lotus is just like, what? No, no. I just want to be sure
That sounded like a proposition to me.
No, 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 no. She holds up a hand. No, I am not. I just don't. I just want to be sure that we're aware of what our sleeping arrangements are going to be so that no one's uncomfortable. That's all.
How many
Alright.
rooms are available to us?
At the Luskan Arms. So it doesn't take you guys very long to get there. So let me just go ahead and I'll activate the scene. and then let me drop you guys outside.
I guess a side answer that question. Do the clergy of the shrine, do they sleep at the shrine, or do they have like their own homes, or what's the whole deal?
The clergy of the shrine would have lodging at the shrine itself.
Okay, then that is
Yeah.
where Alicia will be sleeping. But
Splitting the party.
but she will stay up with you guys if that is what you guys are intending. But that she'll go back to the shrine.
Gotcha.
The sliding stuff's pretty cool.
Question: where's the door? Because I can see a bedroom. Oh, there's a door. There's an actual
There's
door.
lots of there's windows here. So as you guys enter in, the Luskan Arms, the place is kind of happening. There is a lot of fishers here. You see the owner of the establishment. His name is Owen Tarsana. He is kind of going behind the bar, slinging drinks. His staff is bringing alcohol to people, and yeah. Well, what do you guys do as you enter?
I imagine as soon as the door opens, like someone turns and be like, "Close the fucking door! You're letting all the heat out."
It's definitely this gal. Collapsed would definitely say, "You're letting the stank out. Close the door."
Just imagine it'd be like my mom, like, you're trying to heat up the whole neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Lotus will go ahead and belly up to the bar here and say, I assume you're the proprietor of this fine establishment?
Welcome to the Luskan Arms, the camp on the hill. Are you looking for rooms for the night or just for refreshments?
Well, probably a bit of both, but let's go ahead and start with rooms. What do you have available, and how much do you charge?
He looks to you all and says, I have 6 rooms available this night. The suite, of course, is being occupied by the speaker.
Of course. I think
A
that
room
should
for the night
be...
is 1 silver piece.
That'll be fair. It's about. I think that should be one for each of us then. And Lotus gives a bit of a sigh of relief at that.
I do not need a room.
Are you sure? I'm not we wouldn't want you to just, lay on the floor here, after all.
Your concern is unnecessary.
Oh, yes, you'll have to forgive me, but I really mean more for, like, the not necessarily your comfort, but I don't really think the owner would, wouldn't like to see you, just sleeping on the floor. It's not a good look, right?
I can wait outside until you have finished your rest period.
I mean, is that going to hurt you being out in the elements for all night?
I am equipped with very warm clothing.
Suit yourself.
All right. Well, I guess I will go ahead and take a room then. She'll go ahead and put a silver piece down on the bar top and slide it over to him.
He'll take the silver piece. You have your choice of any of the rooms in the hall, save the main suite.
Very well. I'll take one in a little bit. I wouldn't mind a bit of refreshment, though. What do you have on offer?
He says, Here at the Luskin Arms, we've got the best mead in 10 towns, the good mead. We also have ale from East Haven.
I'll take a mead if you don't mind. And also, I did want to ask. She'll reach into the pack at her side. Do you mind if I smoke in here?
He says, go ahead.
It's like before, Lotus will take one out, and as she does, she'll look and it's like, I only got 2 more. I need to wrap up some more when we get back to Bryn Shander. She'll put her mouth, and just like before, she'll snap her fingers a few times for prestidigitation, then light it.
Yes, your cigarette is lit. You see people around are kind of like staring at your group because you guys are, like D-list celebrities. So you guys are in, and Alicia, you can see that this group of table behind you, they're kind of whispering and they're pointing at you as they're talking.
She won't turn, but I mean, with her passive perception, is she able to overhear what they're saying, or?
Oh, yes, she is with a passive perception of 20, right? You hear him say, "Oh, I heard that the Thane, yes, the new acolyte, they're only here in 10 towns because they're running from gambling debts. Can you imagine a person like that being our Thane?
She'll just lightly chuckle to herself.
Lotus will take a drag from her cigarette, and you're like, this is nice. Where I'm from, it's actually against the law to smoke in a tavern. You have to do it outside, and I wouldn't imagine doing that in this kind of weather.
The owner looks to you and shakes his head. I'm glad we aren't living where you are. Sounds terrible.
Well, it's terrible in some ways, but it has its charm, like most cities do. She gives a little bit of a chuckle under her breath, like she feels she told a very clever joke.
Artie, as you're sitting around here carousing, is your goal just to get a rest and then head out in the morning? Or are you guys trying to do anything else?
I imagine we're probably just planning on what we're going to be doing once we get to Bryn Shander, unless anyone else has any ideas.
Well, it'll still be quite dark when we wake up, so we have plenty of time to rest and come up with a plan in the morning.
That is fair.
And so Raylan will ask for a pint of mead and a room. We'll put the 1 silver on the bar top for the room, and once she has paid for the pint, she'll head down the hall to claim a room and set up for the night.
Perfect, yeah. And you should be able to click and open the door at your leisure.
Oh, these doors are locked.
Oh. Here, I'll open them.
There's one lock.
Lotus will finish her mead and then her cigarette, and then she'll call out to the others and be like, I'm going to call it a night. I'll see you all in the morning, she says, knowing how, how the sun rising and sunset works differently here.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Blarton would sit at the fire. Knowing that he has gone above and beyond for his job today.
Oi, Owen. Need a whole plate of protein, some ale, and how are you fixed for ice wine?
He says, we do not have a sizable supply of ice wine at all. I would say we actually have none of it.
God damn it. Fine. Mutton and ale, please.
He nods. And everyone, I'm not going to nickel and dime you for drink and food, because it's like, I think it's a silver piece or a gold, or excuse me, or copper piece for those things. So if I'm not mentioning those prices, that's why, because it's so minuscule in the grand scheme of things. You will soon get your leg of mutton and your cup of ale. And we can kind of get a flash forward as you guys are able to long rest and then wake in the morning for your next day of adventuring on the 24th of Int.
Yeah, for the most part, Alicia will stay up with, I guess, the boys for as long as they decide to be awake for, except for Akia, because you don't technically have to. You have to shut down, but not so much sleep. But then yeah, we'll head back to the shrine for her long rest.
Larkton
Damon will put a gold piece on the bar, and he will eat and drink until he just passes out, just face down on the bar, snoring.
Absolutely. Two of his attendants, actually probably three or four, carry you to a bed at one point during the night.
All right, fuck off! Don't touch me, leave me. He does not want to be touched, so you're better off just leaving him at the bar, unless you want to try again.
Alicia, understanding this, will probably take a blanket from his pack and just put it over him and be like, it's probably just better not to move him.
Fine. We'll leave him there.
I do apologize for the sound.
That's all right. Not the worst noise that we've had in here. At one point, the speaker... that sounded wet. Oh, no. Get the buckets.
No, Lucille.
Well, hopefully he has the sweet dreams.
Absolutely. So yeah, you guys, the next morning, and just so we can see where you guys are, what your plans are, maybe you designated a time to meet back up at the Luskan Arms.
I guess there's one thing real quick, just in case anyone was interested. Lotus would, before going to sleep proper, would spend her time, as she always does, going over her notes from the day. And glad that she finally got a room to herself, she would actually take her mask off and just sort of say to herself, like, it's so hard to sleep in this thing. And would keep it by the bedside. And when she woke up in the morning, she would make sure to put it back on before going to meet up with everyone.
As you enter the main room, you see Akia mending the chairs.
Owen, the owner, would be like, you don't have to do that. It gives the place charm. Oh, you've already done it. All right. Goes back behind the bar. Starts his tasks for the day.
Normally someone would have to pay for the furniture that's broken, but... Huh.
I was bored.
Like magic putting workmen out of Good job.
That does bode a good question.
No more code soup. Oh, what? Bacon and ale, please. And sausages. Crusty bread and butter. Ooh, big breakfast, please.
Ah, protein and carbs. Working on your gains, are you?
I mean, I've already gained them. And he, will just sort of, not, try to impress you, flex, but just sort of, flex his bicep. It's like, I mean, we got Yeti slaying to do later on. It's gonna, take it all.
Indeed. Well, I do a little bit of working out myself, but it's certainly nothing compared to yours.
Gets the job done.
Indeed. Well, I may as well enjoy a little bit of breakfast myself. It is the most important meal of the day, after all.
To determine how many children were kidnapped by Yeti in the night. Alicia, please roll a d20.
Do I have to?
Yes, and then
The one-
staff is going to roll
The one
against
time
that.
you're hoping for an actual one.
I know, right? Okay.
Okay, he's going to roll perception.
Fuck.
No children were kidnapped this night by Yetis.
Oh, good.
One almost got one, but thanks to the power of his ability to shoot things several times, because he is a mercenary veteran, they killed a Yeti last night.
Good job, Scath.
Okay, so yeah, your guys' plan, you're planning to leave Targos and then head to Bryn Shander?
Yep, that sounds about right.
Well, I mean, what about
Me.
the Yetis? Maybe we could take care of that.
I feel like that's more of an ongoing problem.
Or what if we try and be all clever and shit and get a bunch of fake children, run a campfire, and lie in wait.
What exactly is fake children?
Yeah, are you thinking make them like scarecrows, like straw dolls or something like that?
Yes, that.
It's not a bad idea necessarily, but I would imagine Yetis are probably more attracted to things like sound and smell. I think
Well, we stuff the straw dolls with, smelly children's stuff. Like socks and bacon and other things.
Maybe we can workshop that idea as we go to Bryn Shander. Doesn't sound like there's a complete plan there.
I don't know, that sounds pretty complete to me. Set up the trap, lie in wait. They walk into the trap, spring the trap, kill the Yetis, skin the Yetis, go home, drink and eat. Sounds like a pretty complete plan to me.
It's more of the waiting part.
It's what you gotta do sometimes. Is wait.
I can inscribe runes that would give a childlike sound and smell, but not appearance.
Well, right, but that's why we got the fake children.
Do you know how to craft fake children to be visually appealing to Yetis?
No, because I'm not a Yeti. I don't know what, Yetis find visually appealing about small, wee kitties?
My understanding was that they eat them. Although, to be fair, I have not researched Yetis in much detail.
Alright, well, maybe you should.
That's
Very well.
actually a good idea. Once we get back to Bryn Shander, I know the staff at the library. They might be able to help us out with some research materials on Yetis.
Akia looks excited for probably the second time in the adventure. Perks up a bit at the mention of a library.
Well, Akia, I hope you know that having fun isn't hard when you've got and she whips it out from her sleeve, a library card.
Nerd!
Akia reaches for it.
Oh, now, Akia. Once we get to the library, we can have them issue one for yourself.
I would greatly appreciate that.
Double nerd!
Yeah, Lotus will give a bit of a roll of her purple eyes at that. It's like, I don't mind. I've been called much, much worse.
Should we try to lure Yetis while we travel?
Oh God.
I did not understand if that was a...
Scath does that Yeti call thing all the time. Please don't.
You can hear from outside.
Jesus
Perhaps it's best we keep our eyes, ears, and noses out for them, but not actively seek them out.
Very well.
Which does bring up an interesting question, Akia. I know do you have the same sort of senses that we do? You know, sight, smell, touch, those sorts of things?
I believe so. Although there are some people that seem to be able to see in the dark much better than I am.
Yes, I'm not very good at that, but thankfully I did figure out how that light works. Still learning how my arcane abilities manifest themselves.
It is difficult to quantify my ability to sense things that other people can sense in comparison to their own abilities. But I believe I have all of the senses that most people have, even if they are not quite as powerful as some others.
Before we head out, that store we went to with Justin, Hunray, is that pretty much the only store that sells merch, or is there like a smithy or?
That is the kind of the biggest store in town, but you could probably pick up any good that you were looking for from Triglios. Otherwise, when you head to Brand Shander, there's a much wider selection of shops.
Okay, I was looking for a third hand axe.
You could buy a third hand axe from Mr. Justin here, no problem.
Heyman, how many axes do you need?
I don't know. How many axes can I carry?
That's actually a pretty legitimate response.
I imagine Gaiman carrying one in his teeth.
Oh, yeah, thinking of being like Sanji.
I was
Or like
I was
Killer
imagining
Bee.
one of his teeth in
Killer Bee.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't hold them in your teeth. That's daft, unless you like climbing a rope. You only do that if you need your hands free. No, I juggle them.
You
one.
know, Gaiman, I remember hearing this story where I'm from uh, about a guy who had a magical axe where he would throw it and then he could have it return back to him, right back into his hand.
Really? Unlock something like that. That'd be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, he was always. In fact, it's interesting. He was traveling around his son in a place that was going through a bad winter just like this, and the thing is, he very rarely referred to his son by his name. Just kept calling him boy.
Mm-hmm. As you make
it's his son, so yeah, he would be a boy.
as you guys have made your plan to leave Targos to head to Bryn Shander, your ally Blarton, along the way, you can exit the. Is your plan to leave when the dim light occurs at 11 a.m., or are you going to leave currently?
I mean, the dim light only lasts for 2 hours. We should leave now.
Oh, so it's currently 8 a.m. The dim light will begin at 11 a.m. and ends at 2 p.m.
Okay, so 3 hours. So
it's currently still dark AF.
we should proceed.
Okay. Cool. So we will then go ahead. I'm going to hit the pause button on our session because it is midnight, and I will take us back to the start page.
One thing I was gonna ask: does Justin have oil for a lamp?
Yes, he would have oil flasks and oil.
All right. Alicia would purchase some oil.
I love it. You never know when fire damage will be useful in a campaign in a frozen wasteland.
Well, she does have a lamp, but that too. Eventually, when she has more flamey stuff, setting on fire will definitely come in handy.
The new Gaiman, it might be.
No, definitely need to work on our juggling routine. I think we might have cut ourselves.
Maybe start with the bowling pins first. Well, excellent job, guys. Everyone, we just did an entire session where you didn't really have to roll any dice. So we all had Faxpiration, but we didn't really need to use it. That was amazing.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah, Gaiman, unfortunately enough, expired. So the plan next session.
Hand
Go to
X
Targos.
lodging.
How did I die? What bullshit is this?
you now won while juggling axes.
Hand X lodge in your head.
No, you didn't die.
This is just a flesh wound. I'll get over it.
The plan next session, of course. Head to Bryn Shander to meet up with the the person who wants to give you guys the adventure. Also, maybe something that might be interesting to you guys. You guys are all now level 2.
Woo.
Woo!
Huzzah!
Blarton doesn't gain a level because he is just an NPC. He's just happy to be around. Okay, so next week is the 9th. We shouldn't have any issue on the 9th. Looking ahead to the the 23rd and the 30th. I don't believe that should be an issue for me on either of those days. Does anyone foresee any issues on the 23rd or the 30th for them?
No.
Because I know those are close to two giant holidays.
I will not be available on the 30th. We're doing our annual New Year's Eve do. We've got a bunch of friends coming into town. I will not be available that day. Well, night.
Raylan will be available.
I should be
Aki-
available on those days.
Akia should be available.
Same. I should be available.
Okay, so I'll ask again, going closer to those days, obviously, but on the 30th, we should have 4 or 5. Okay, cool. Well, everyone, I had a great time. This is officially session 2. We're into the thick of things. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. If there are any ways that I can make the game run more smoothly, please let me know. And Lex, we could probably end the stream here.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for running.
My pleasure. And as you're ending the stream, everyone, I think I put in the listing for the game. Session 0 and Session 1 were free, so now we're into the paid stuff. So I'm sorry if this is clunky. I did put up the link for the PayPal already, and for Venmo, either one of those is good. Yeah. Cool. I'm going to go to bed, everybody. I hope you guys have a good weekend, and I will see you guys next Friday for Bryn Shander. And I'm going to be completely honest. You guys threw me a curveball there. I did not expect you to turn around.
Double
and go
back.
I was like, these sons of bitches. That's all right, though.
That's up.
Hey, what?
You should
We
have just had. You had identification on him. You put the identification there.
I know. I did that, and I was like, oh, that'll solve any questions they
If it was
have.
just an anonymous body, we would have just been like, all right, well, it's up to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. It's like, if we're good guys, we can't just leave the body there.
Speak for yourself.
You're right. I did it to myself again.
Right. What kind of players would we be, though, if we didn't completely and totally upend everything you had planned?
It's okay. It's okay. It was.
We were like, you put identification on. We were like, the DM definitely wants us to investigate this.
And I totally did. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy.
Congratulations,
this was really fun.
you played yourself.
I played myself, but you know what? It was really fun.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
And I'm having a great time. We did not have I was explaining this at the beginning of the session that I had a 15-round combat last night because of natural ones and poor, poor strategic choices. So this was a very welcome change of pace.
15 rounds. That's baby talk.
Oh,
I think
I'm
David can
sorry.
attest.
I said, let's fall back and regroup, but no, I was overruled. Fucking democracy.
Hey,
You've got dude.
you've got the rope master in your game.
Not anymore, we don't.
No, that's true. You have the avatar of the rope master. He's there, just not. Oh, okay, we're getting off track. All right, guys, I'm gonna go to bed. I hope you guys have a good evening. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Thanks for the game.
Thanks.
Good game. Good night, everybody.
Night.